For the first time since George Zimmerman was found not guilty of murdering their son, Trayvon Martin's parents are speaking publicly this morning about the verdict. Sabrina Fulton and Tracy Martin are with us, along with their attorney, Benjamin Crump. Good morning.
Good morning.
First of all, it ought to be said that among all these questions, everybody understands, most importantly, the loss of your son. And you have to answer these questions. I mean, you don't have to, but it's part of a process that you are going through. What is it you most want us to understand before we talk about the particulars of this verdict?
I want American to know that Trayvon was a fun-loving child. He was our child. We miss him dearly. Just to have your child's life taken away from you like that, it hurts, and it's a process that will take a long time to start the recovery from.
And how are you feeling, Sabrina, after the verdict?
I was in a bit of shock. I thought surely that he would be found guilty of second-degree murder, manslaughter at the least, but I just knew that they would see that this was a teenager just trying to get home. This was no burglar. This was somebody's son that was trying to get home.
You were stunned by the verdict.
I was stunned, absolutely. I couldn't believe it.
You believe that this was racial profiling, and this happened because of that?
We didn't know details about the case. We knew some of them, but some of the details came out in the courtroom as far as previous 911 calls, and I think it was, obvious that it was a black person, a black young person that they were looking for. But Trayvon simply was not that person. Trayvon was not a burglar. He wasn't doing anything wrong. He simply went to the store and was headed back home. And for somebody to look at him and perceive him to be a burglar, that is the problem that initiated everything.
Did you hear that juror who spoke out with Anderson Cooper, and what did you think when you heard her say that she believes that Trayvon played a huge role in his own death?
I don't think she knows Trayvon. Trayvon is not a confrontational person. So instead of placing the blame on the teenager, we need to place the blame on the responsible adult. There were two people involved. We had an adult that was chasing a kid, and we had the kid who I feel was afraid.
Understandably, you were not there for the verdict, and you're speaking out now for the first time. Do you believe you should, and do you plan to initiate a civil suit?
We'll look at all legal options right now. We're asking the Department of Justice to answer that question for us, Charlie. Can a private citizen with a gun profile and follow our children home? Because the United States Supreme Court doesn't even allow the police to profile people based on race. So this is an issue we need to know, because we got to know what to tell our children.
What would you like, if anything, for President Obama to do?
That's pretty tough. To say the least, at least investigate what happened. At least go through it with a fine-tooth comb and just make sure all the T's were crossed and all the I's were dotted, because this is setting a terrible message. It's sending out a terrible message to young teenagers. Trayvon was walking too slow, so should they be walking too fast? So I don't think teenagers in whole know exactly what to do now.
Sabrina Fulton, Tracy Martin, Benjamin Crump, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.